Wow, that's fantastic. I know you want to create something like that, but how? Today I feel so excited talking about Unreal Engine 5 released some days ago. This is a great engine. You can create any kind of games you want. But where to start this? Don't worry about this. This is a free course. Here we will start Unreal Engine 5 from complete beginning, downloading and installing it. And then we will talk about everything you need to know as a beginner about Unreal Engine 5. Like navigation in this engine, talking about textures, talking about creating first materials, creating objects, using objects, moving objects in Unreal Engine 5. But finally we will talk about landscapes, creating landscape materials, and the most important thing, talking about painting foliage in Unreal Engine 5. I have two good news for you in this course. I will show you a library from which you can download more than 16,000 free assets. That is amazing because there will be 3D meshes, 3D objects, and with high quality, and those are scanned by Quixel team. Those are available for you for free and you can download them. I will show you how to download them and how to use them in Unreal Engine 5. There is lots of materials, you can use them in your projects and I will show you how to use them. Finally, I will show you Epic Games library from where you can download thousands of free assets also. There will be pre-created games, free codes, and also there's lots of things you can use in your maps, including Lyra, which is released with Unreal Engine 5. I will show you how to download Lyra for free and how to use its artificial intelligent characters, its free created characters in your own map, how to download other assets from Epic Games and create your own map. At the very end, I will show you how to create this game. So that's amazing. Let's start it from complete beginning. Now let's start Unreal Engine and let's talk about how to download and install Unreal Engine in our computer. First, let's come to our browser and search for Epic Games Launcher. You can find Epic Games Launcher, the link for downloading it here, and you can download it from here. After downloading it, you can easily install it on your computer. While you install Epic Games Launcher, this is your Epic Games Launcher, and from here you can download Unreal Engine 5. Remember that if you want to download Unreal Engine 5 pre-compiled for Windows, you have to download Epic Games Launcher. And here we have a tab with the name of Unreal Engine. But first time, if you open Epic Games Launcher, you will have login screen, and from there you can easily log in and you can create a free account at Epic Games. And then you will have Unreal Engine tab here. You can come to Unreal Engine tab. Here we have new news about Unreal Engine, and here is the good news that Unreal Engine is now available to download. There is some other news, and you can come to samples. Here you can find some samples like Lyra and some other sample like Sample City and many more. Here you can find them. And finally we want to come to Marketplace. In Marketplace there are lots of free contents and paid contents. You can buy them or download them for free. We will talk about them some minutes later, but now let's come to library, and from here we want to download Unreal Engine 5. If you don't have Unreal Engine, you will not have, it will not be here. You can come to plus icon, click here, and here you will have Unreal Engine 5 at the top. I already installed Unreal Engine 5, that's why I don't have it here, but you will have Unreal Engine 5 at the top. You have to download that, and Unreal Engine 4 is also available. You can download any version of Unreal Engine 4, but remember, by using Unreal Engine 5 you will not be required to install Unreal Engine 4. And after selecting Unreal Engine 5, you can click on install. It will take some time because Unreal Engine 5 has large size, that's why it will take time. But after installing Unreal Engine 5, you will have launch button here, or you can launch it from here. And let's click on launch. Wait some time until it will be launched. Now it is our Unreal Engine 5, and from here we can open recent projects. I already have these recent projects, but if you're new to Unreal Engine 5 and it's your first time, then you will not have recent projects. But after opening some projects, you will have some of your recent projects here. And from games, we can create a new game project. Here we have blank project, we have first person shooter, and we have third person like top down, vehicle, and many more for virtual reality and AR. But remember that these are created templates by Unreal Engine, and we can use them. Like third person, you will have some third person pre-created tools there, or first person, but we will not use these templates in this lecture because we want to start everything from blank project. Let's select blank project, but remember here we have some other options like for film, and we have for architecture, and we have for automotive product design, and many more. Remember that Unreal Engine is not only for game development. We can use films, movies, or architecture or automotive product design, and we can use it for many purposes. But our goal is to use Unreal Engine 5 for game development. Then let's create a game development project. I want to create a blank project because we want to start everything from the beginning. And then here we have blueprint on C++. We can develop games in Unreal Engine using C++ or blueprint. We will talk about blueprint and C++ in other lectures in this channel, but a quick review that blueprints or visual scripting is a programming language done within Unreal. Visual scripting is coding via a drag and drop method, connecting graphics rather than text. But C++ is, in addition to blueprints, Unreal Engine uses C++, a text-based programming language. It's low level, and learning it will allow you for solving of complex problems and understanding of how programs work. If you want to follow C++ courses, you can find more information in the description below. You can find free or paid courses which I made for C++ and blueprint. But as you know that this is a beginner's course, that's why we have to select blueprint for that. We will not talk about C++ in this lecture. And we have targeted platform. We want to select desktop, and we have a quality preset. We want to select maximum and starter contents. We don't want to use starter content in this lecture, then let's now select it. And finally we have ray tracing. Ray tracing makes it possible to create interactive experience with suitable lighting, effective, comparable with many offline renders in real time. And we will talk about that in future, not now, because that's an advanced topic in Unreal Engine 5. Now let's click on project location. We want to select a location for a project. I want to come to my Unreal Engine tools, Unreal Engine 5, and here I want to create new project and name it new project. Let me select this folder, and I will give a name to my project like new project, and let me create the project. Wow, great job. After waiting some time, we have our first Unreal Engine 5 project, and this is the default map in Unreal Engine 5. And it's time for user interface. Let's see what is there in Unreal Engine 5. Like, we have many options in this window. Let's talk about them. First, we have toolbar here. Toolbar buttons provide easy access to common commands needed when editing. What does it means? Like, while we're editing, there we have many options here in toolbar. Like, we have select modes. We can switch between different modes like landscape mode, or we can select foliage mode, mesh paint, and many more. But let me select select mode, because select mode is for editing and moving objects around the world. And here we have create objects and many more. We will talk about them, but remember, this is toolbar, and here we have easy access to those tools which is required, or which we need every time. Second most important part of Unreal Engine is content browser. Content browser is the primary area of the Unreal editor for creating, importing, organizing, viewing, and modifying content assets within Unreal editor. It provides the ability to manage content folders and perform other useful operations and assets such as renaming, moving, copying, and viewing references. So content browser is very important in Unreal Engine, and here we can divide our project tools by different collections. Like, here is our new project tools, it contains, and here is Unreal Engine tools and many more. Remember, while we're working in Unreal Engine, content browser hides itself automatically, but while we need, we can use it. But if you want a shortcut for it, it is Control plus space. You can hide or unhide that. But if you want content browser forever or anytime you need it, then you can come and click on dock in layout. Now you will have it here, and it will never hide itself. But if you don't need it, you can close it and you can use it from here again. And after that, we have place actor. We can add place actors panel from here. Place actor is using for creating shapes, lights, visual effects, volumes, and many more. And we can access it from a toolbar. It is not here by default, and we can click here. Like, we have actors, we have characters, pawns, and many more. We can come to lights, and there is many more options. We will talk about that just in few minutes. And there we have world setting. Each level can have unique settings applied to it from the world setting panel. You can use this panel to do everything from making sure the right game mode is activated when you play, to the level to adjust how global illumination works for that level. It means that everything related to this level are here in world setting. You can manage them from here. And after that, we have world outliner here. From world outliner, or this panel displays all the actors within the scene in a hierarchical tree view. Actors can be selected and modified directly from the world outliner. You can select them from here, and you can also use the info drop down menu to display an extra column that shows level, layers, or ID names. Here you can find them. Like, here we have, you can copy and paste, you can place actors and edit it, like cut, copy, duplicate, delete, rename, its visibility and transform, shaping, and many more information about any object you want. You can use by just by right clicking it, and you can hide and view any object you want here. Like, if I want to hide directional light, just I want to click, and now I don't have directional light. But remember, directional light is the most important part of any level. That's why if you don't have directional light, then like we don't have sun in the earth. If you don't have sun and earth, then it will be dark everywhere. But we need it, and you can hide any object from here. And finally, we have details panel. Details panel contains information, utilities, and functions specific to the current selected in the viewport. Like if we select any object, for example, if I select this object, then in details panel we will have details or information or setting about that specific selected object. It contains transform edit box for moving, rotating, and scaling objects. It displays all of the editable properties for the selected actors and provide quick access to additional editing functionality depending on the type of actor selected in the viewport. Like here we have transform, information, and many more objects. Here you can find any information about that or any editable settings you can find in details panel. Now let's talk about navigation in Unreal Engine 4 or moving forward, backward, right, and left. In Unreal Engine there is too much ways to move forward, backward, and finally navigate in the world, but the easiest way is to navigate by buttons. First we have to click on right mode button, and then we can press W for moving forward, and E for moving backward, D for right, and A for left. And also we can use Q for moving down and E for moving up. These 6 keys we can use for moving all around the world, and that's too much easy. But remember, we have to press right mouse button, because using right mouse button will allow us to rotate our camera in the world and move around the world. And after that, the most important thing is camera speed in the world. We can use camera speed from here. Like if I want to move forward, I can change the speed, and now I can move very faster. But if I want to move slower, I can use a low speed like 2. Now I will move very slow in the world. But we can control camera speed while we are moving in the world. Like if I want to control while moving in the world, I can use middle mouse button. If I scroll up, speed will up, but if I scroll down, I can down the speed in the world. It is too much easy. While you're moving in the world, you can control the camera speed just by middle mouse button. There is one more important thing while navigating in the world, is that we are focusing on some object. Like if I come and create some objects to shapes, I want to create a cube, and let me create one more object. Like this time I want to create a sphere, these 2 objects. Now I'm all the way here and I'm too much away from my objects. Even I cannot see the objects. Where are they? There's 2 ways to find objects in the world easy. First, you can search in World Outliner and you can find them by name. Like I found the sphere. Now if I double click on sphere, I will come to sphere and I will focus on that. And the second way is to come and search. Like this time I want to search for cube. I'll select cube and press F button, then I will focus on this object. 2 ways. First, double click and pressing F button will allow you to focus on an object. Focusing on an object will help you a lot, because while you're pressing F and then using Alt left mouse button for rotating around this object only, and right mouse button for zooming and zooming out, it helps you a lot. But remember, you have to press Alt and then you can control the camera around the object. But first you have to focus on object. You have to press F button, and then now you can use it. It's too much easy, because sometimes you need to navigate only around one object, or you're working on one object, you have to rotate your camera and that, then you can use this. Now let's talk about these settings in the left top corner of our screen. You can see here some settings. Let's talk about them. First, we have viewport setting. These are viewport settings. Options belong to viewport or including here, like we can have game view mode, we have bookmarks, we have show frames per second, and many more. First, let me show you what's frames per second. If I activate frames per second, then it will allow me to see how much frames per second are these. Frames per second means that in 1 second how much frames are passing, or my window is updating how much times in 1 second. It is very important. The most frames per second means high speed, and the low frames per second means the low speed. If you have high frames per second 60 or 120, then it means that your computer is working very well and your map is also not too much heavy for your computer. But if you have low frames per second, then it means your computer is not working correctly, or this map is very heavy for your computer. Then we have more options like game view mode. We have some extra icons here, like we can see these all boxes. Sometimes you can hide them, these extra icons. Then you can activate game view mode, like you will see how your world will looks like in game view world. Now you can see this is your real world and you can see all these things in your game. But if you deselect this, then this is your edit view, because you have all these things which will not be visible in the world. Next you have bookmarks. Bookmarks are very important. You can see there's lots of options. We don't want to talk about all of them, just those which is important for beginners. Let's talk about them. Like bookmarks, we can select different bookmarks. Like sometimes I want to bookmark this place, and for future I will come here a lot. Then I can come to bookmark and set bookmark. We have 10 bookmarks starts from 0. Like I want to add it to bookmark 1. Now this is my bookmark 1. I want to come to cube and add one more bookmark, set bookmark to 2, and let me go to this area and let me add one more bookmark, set bookmark as 3. Now if I come and tell him jump to bookmark 1, then it will come to bookmark 1 directly. But remember, we have shortcuts for this, like 1 2 3 or shortcuts for jumping to bookmarks, and control plus 0 1 2 or till 9 are for setting bookmarks. Like if I press 1, I will come here, 2 for this, 3 for third bookmark, and 4 I don't have any bookmark for 4. Let me select one more bookmark for fourth, but remember this time from shortcuts, control plus 4. Now I have bookmark for first, second, third, and fourth. We have 4 bookmarks. We can add more. But if you want to clear all the bookmarks, you can come here and clear one or all bookmarks from your scene. Now let me come again to create camera. Here you can add camera actors or layouts. You can use these layouts here, like which kind of layouts you want, only 1 pin, 2 pins, or 3 pins, or 4 pins. You can select from here. Like I want 2 pins. This is wireframe from top, and this is wireframe from right view. You can change these views from here, or you can come back here and tell him 1 panel, and this time you have only 1 panel. You can change these panels for using and adjusting files very well. We will talk about them in future also, because it's very important. Now let's come to perspective. What is perspective? To switch between perspective and different orthographic views, there are 2 main types of viewports in Unreal Editor. We have perspective view and we have orthographic views. The perspective view is a 3D window into your world. Like this is our perspective view. But what is Orthographic view. The orthographic views like from front, side and top area are to the viewports that each look down one of the main axes like X, Y or Z. Let me tell you this is an orthographic view from the top. You can see your world from the top by using this, or you can see these are our cubes. Here we have this is our cube, and you can shoot from bottom. We have left and we have right and we have front and back. These are orthographic views. Orthographic views are very important for adjusting different kinds of files, like for creating room, for adjusting two files. Orthographic views can help us a lot. Like this time, now I can adjust my cube to the ground very well, or I can adjust two cubes side by sides very well, because from orthographic views we can see it by wireframe mode, and it will help us a lot. If you don't know what's wireframe, I can explain it, that you weaving on objects like it's wire or lines only. It is called wireframe, and wireframe help us a lot while we are adjusting our files in the world. If you already used any 3D program, then you can understand what is wireframe mode. Let me come back to perspective, and this time we have our real world from our perspective window. Next we have let or view mode. The Unreal Editor viewport have a large number of visualization modes to help you the type of data being processed in the world, as well as to diagnose any error or unexpected results. The more common view modes have their own hotkeys, but all can access from the viewport within view mode settings. Like here we have let, we have unlet, wireframe and many more. Let's talk about them. First we have let. Let means your real world with lighting and everything. But if you come to unlit, it means that your real world but without lighting. You can see your world but there is no lighting, and light will not affect your world. Sometimes you have lighting issues in your world, you can use unlit mode, because you will be able to see easily where is lighting problems. You can come to wireframe, as we talked about wireframe just before. Wireframe mode help you a lot while you're adjusting your world or adjusting your files in the world. And then we have a detail lighting, like it is helping you solving lighting problems, and lighting only. This is lighting only. Like this time you can see how your directional light can affect your world, or shadows. And we have reflections. We will talk about reflections in future, it's important also, and many more. Like we have level up details or LODs, which is very important for, we have different LODs for matches while we're going away from any object. Its LOD is decreasing and help any program to increase its performance. But if after that we have nanite, we will talk about nanite, because nanite is very important. Like let me see nanite triangle. There is no nanite objects in our world. We will talk about nanite in future, because nanite is very important in Unreal Engine 5, and it is new also. It can help us a lot while we're using our world or large worlds. Nanites are very important for large worlds. And then we have Lumen. We will talk about Lumen. If you want to see Lumen issues, you can activate any Lumen mode from here. And LODs, again, visualizations we have here. And finally we have exposure. Exposure is also very important for the world. Like for now we have auto exposure, and we can deselect auto exposure and select a manually value for that, like light or brighter value. but we will talk about exposure a lot because it is very important while we're talking about post-process volume. Visual effects, we have post-process volume, and we will talk about that just in a little bit future. And finally, we have show flags. What are show flags? This means by which you can show and hide many of the items that are viewed within the viewport. For example, you can hide all particles, all landscape objects, or something a bit more advanced like turning off all the sprite icons. Here we have different things, like you can hide anything or you can unhide. Like I want to hide fog from the world, like this time you can see, or we can hide grid, like if I come here we have these grids. First let me do unhide fog. Now we have fogs again. If I want to hide these grids, then I can hide those grids, but if you need it you can show them back. These are for hiding or showing any objects. From here you can select like BSP objects, collision objects, you can hide or show grid, landscape. Like I want to hide landscape. Now we don't have any landscape object, but if you want to unhide that you can show them back. There's lots of things you can hide or unhide them from show or command show flags. And now let's see how can we create objects in Unreal Engine 5. To create that, first I want to come to create objects, and from here I can create any kind of objects I want, like basics. We have actor, pawn, character, and many more. We have lights, we have shapes, we have cinematics, and many more. For example, if I want to come to shapes and want to create a cube, there is two ways. First I can drag and drop it into the world, and second I can come to shapes and click on it. Let me this time I create a sphere or cylinder. I will double click on that and I will create it here. But if you want to come here and you need this actors panel, right here you can find your actors panel here, and from here you can add any actor to your world, character there, or pawn, or any other basic objects, or you can come to lights, directional light, point light, or spotlights. You can add rectangle lights or add skylights to your world. And then we have shapes, like you can add cube and cone or many more to your world. And there we have cinematics, like you can add camera or level sequence or actor or many more. We have visual effects, you can add post-process volume, in which we will talk about that. You have sky atmosphere and many more. We have geometry, which is very important. You can add any geometry to your world, and remember geometry is very important. You can come to its details and you can find more information about your geometry here. Like you can change its radius, you can change its step height, you can change its step width, and you can add more steps to your geometry. And there is lots of settings you can do in geometry. You can add box, and then from here you can select it is additive or subtractive. For example, this is an additive box. I can add one more box, and let me change its size a little bit. Let me change its size like this, and if I bring it here, now if I come and select subtractive, now it will subtract that distance from our old box. And like that you can add more geometry from here. And finally we have volume here, and we have all classes. You can use them. We will talk about those which are very important in this lecture. This is for creating any object. If you need to place actors, you can place it here, otherwise you can close it from here. Then you will have a large window into your world. And there we have to move our objects around the world. Like we have to transform. Like I want to move this geometry. For moving that, I have here some options like select. You can select any object in the world, and then you can select move. You can move to the right, you can move in two directions at the same times, or you can move at all directions at the same time. That's so easy for you, or in one direction in x-axis, or in z in 2. And then we have rotate. There is shortcuts for that, W, E and R keys. We have rotate. You can rotate your objects in any axis you want, like this. And finally we have resize objects. You can change its size in all axes, in one or in two axes at the same time. That's all for these three. And finally we have world and local transforming. It is very important. Like if I come and select movement, here I have, as you can see, this is our world axis. This is x, y and z. These are world axis, but every object has its own local axis as well. Let me tell you first about world axis. Here we selected world axis, and if I want to move this object in y direction, it will move on world y direction. Or if you want to move it in z direction, it will move on world z direction, also in x. But if I come here and select local directions for this, then this time if I move the object, it will not move on world y axis, because world y axis is that side, as you can see it from here. But while I'm moving this object and y axis, it is moving in that direction, because it is moving in its own y direction. It is very important while you're creating your objects and you want to add more functionality into it. Remember world and local axis for any object. If I rotate this object like this, now it's now let's see, its y axis is different because it rotated in the world. Let me select world axis, because most times we are using that. And we have surface snapping here. What is surface snapping? If we enable surface snapping, it will help us to snap on surface. Like I enable this surface snapping. Now this time if I want to move and come near to the world, it will snap there into the world, into the surface, like you can see here. But a good way for snapping into the surface or in the ground, you can use end button or end button, which is there in the world. You can use that. That's very good way for snapping any object into the surface. And finally we have snapping options here. Like what is snapping for? If I select 10 grids, now if I want to move this object, it is snapping 10 objects. It's not moving smoothly because it's snapping. If I select, for example, 500, this time it will only move 500 units, and it is not moving smoothly. But if you need to move any object smoothly, you can deselect these snapping options from here. Now you can move it very smoothly. Also snapping objects for rotating we have here. You can enable or disable. We have for scaling. Like if I want to rotate this object, you can see it is snapping 10 grids at a time. You can increase it to 90. This time it is only snapping to 90 degree. But if I deselect it, now I can rotate it very smoothly. And finally we have it for scaling. If I select it, it is scaling, snapping to scaling like this. If I select, for example, 1, it is scaling a lot. But if I deselect snapping scale, and this time I can scale it very smoothly. Finally, we have camera speed. We already talked about camera speed here. And now let's talk about post-process volume, which is very important. But first let me check if there is any post-process volume. We have to delete this because we will create it from 0, and by that way we will explain everything related to post-process volume. Now we don't have any post-process volume here in our world. For creating post-process volume, I want to come here and come to visual effects. Here I have post-process volume. I will add this post-process volume into my world, and I want to change its size a little bit and press N button to snap to the ground. Now this is our post-process volume, but let me tell you what is post-process volume and what does it doing. First, post-process volume allows us to control the effect of our scene. Like we can control effects. If I come to details, here we have many things, like we can control exposure, we can control chromatic aberration, or dirt mask, or camera, or many more that will allow us to control. But let me first tell you what is exposure. If I come here, here we had exposure or game setting. Here you can see, I told you we will talk about that later. If I come and create some geometry, some rooms, then we will be able to do it in a better way. If I come to geometry here, I will add this box, and let me change its X to 1000 and Y, let me change it to 10,000, not 1,000. That it will help us create everything very well. Now it is our geometry. Now I can add one more box here, and I will change its X to 1000 and Y also. I don't want to change Y to 1000, let me leave it as 10, and Z to 800. Now I want to create a room, and let me duplicate this by pressing Alt and moving, and let me duplicate it again by pressing Alt and moving. Let me rotate this in this. First let me unsnapping into the 10 degree, not 90, and now I can rotate it 90 degrees easily, and I will bring it here. Now this is our an easy room like something. I want to come to this side, and here I want to add one door. For adding door, I want to add this box here, and come to box details. I will change it to subtractive. Now I will have one door here, and I can enter to the room. But first let me add some texture into this. If I come to here, then I will come to Quixel Bridge, and from Quixel Bridge I can add some tools here. If I come to surfaces, and I will come to breaks, and from here I will add some break textures to my project. I want to add this. Let me add wall, but first I have to sign in from my Epic Games account to Quixel Bridge. After signing in, you can download this 3D asset. Let me place this window right here, that I will be able to easily add this to my world. and I will click on download button. If I come to settings, we can find the settings right here, or you can change the quality. Medium quality is okay for that, or I can easily add this by dragging and dropping. Just I want to drag and drop this like this and wait a little bit for downloading. Now I can come to content browser. Here I have media scan surface, and this is my material. I will add this material, then I have to close this because we don't need it anymore. I will add these to my walls like this, but it looks really smaller because our world is too much bigger like this. Let me delete this and let me add it to the ground. Oh, let's add this one and add same for the ground also. Now as you can see, this is our room, and I can enter to the room and come outside. But now let's check something. I want to talk about exposure. What is exposure? If I come here and disable this game settings, now you can see we have manual lighting in the world. If I come inside the room, everything is very darker and I cannot even see what's happening here, because we have dynamic lighting and it not changes while we're going to darker or lighter area. In our real world, if you see in our real eyes, we can, if we go to darker room first time, we can see anything, but a little bit we after a while we can see everything, and our eyes are trying to adjust itself to the darker area. But if we come outside from dark area, and first time everything will be very lighter, and slowly it will become normal for us. Same thing is exposure. If we disable this game settings, then now it is manual lighting, and it is not like real world. Everything is manual, and by entering to the room to darker area or lighter area, nothing changed. But if I come here and enable this game settings, now I can see if I come outside everything is normal, and still if I go inside, camera is trying to adjust itself to the darker area, and still everything is darker. But if I go outside now, slowly everything becomes normal, but first time everything is very darker. Let me enter to the room. First everything is darker, and slowly everything becomes normal for us. That's what we call exposure. But if I come to post process volume and change its settings, like if I come to exposure and I will come here, I also can control our exposure from post process volume. It's not good idea to control your exposure from here, because it will be only available in edit mode, not for games. If you do this, it will not work for game. But if you want to enable exposure, disable exposure settings forever, then you can change it from post process volume. It will work in games as well. Now let me come here and select not auto exposure, select manual volume for that, and I will come here and select a volume, but nothing changed. If you can see here, nothing in our world changed because we are outside of the box. If I come inside the box, everything changed. And now if I change the value, I can make it darker or lighter. But if I come outside, just post process volume setting cannot affect our world. There is two ways. First, we have to create our post processor very longer that will cover all our world, or second, we can come here and select unbound infinite extend. We can select this. Now our post process volume will affect all the world. Now I can come and change the settings. If I come here, now you have to come to exposure and select a manual value for that. Now everything will work, and if I play the game, you can see Now it is a dynamic light. It is a manual value for lighting, and it cannot change its value automatically. But if I come back to our post process volume and select auto exposure for this and disable this, now if I play my game outside, it is normal lighting, but if I come inside, still it is trying to make itself brighter and make everything normal for us. That's what auto exposure does for us. Lumen is also one of the most important part of post process volume, not exposure. That's all about exposure. Lumen, we will talk about Lumen in few minutes future, but we can control Lumen from post process volume. We can search for Lumen, and here we have global illumination. We can enable or disable our Lumen. We will talk about Lumen in just some minutes future. Let me disable that for now. If I clear searching, we can control all the settings from here. You can use and you can enable any setting, like you can come to film and you can change the values. You will see the effects and like this. There's lots of settings here in post process volume. You can control everything, all the effects of your scene from post process volume. You can use all of them. Materials and textures are a very important topic in Unreal Engine 5. Let's talk about how to create materials and how to use them in our objects. And now let's talk about creating your first material in Unreal Engine 5. For that, I want to create a new level, and this time I want a basic level. Let me create it, and I don't want to save this. This is a very basic level, and here we can try our materials. Let me create a new cube. Now when it comes to shapes, and here this is our cube, and as you can see, its color is white, and I want to change its color, like I want to give it a red color or green or any other color. And to do so, I want to come here and to contents, right click, and first I want to create a new folder and name it materials. This is our materials folder, and here I want to right click again and create a new material and give it a name like base color. M means material, and this is our base color material. And now as you can see, I want to apply this material and our cube, and for till now it don't have any color because we have not selected any color for that. I want to come here, and here we have base color, metallic, specular, roughness, and many more. First, let's talk about base color. I want to give it a color like a red color, then I have to select it here. But let's talk about this window a little bit. What is this? This is a material editor in Unreal Engine 5. Here we have a toolbar. From toolbar we can save, browse, apply, and there is some other options. We will not talk about that. And here we have our preview window. Here we can preview our material, that how it looks like. We can change shapes like a plane or cube or any other, but let me select cube back because cube is better for checking our material. And here we have details. We can change details according to nodes. Any node we are selecting, here we will have details about that. And finally we have parameters. In parameters we can make change in parameters, but that is that belongs to different nodes. First, let me create a new node here. How to create node? One way for that is right clicking here and can search for any node we want, or we can come here and find any node we want. Let me tell you which nodes we need more. Like we have constant 1, we have constant 2 vector and 3 vector, 4 vector. These are very important, and most times we are using them. For color we are using 3 vector, because color most time it takes 3 values, and there is many more. We will talk about them. Shortcuts for them is 1 2 3 4, and let me press 1 and click. Now I have constant 1, now I have 2, and now I have 3. But now we don't need these 1 and 2. I want to delete them because we will talk about them later, and we only need constant vector 3, and we will talk about that. And let me change its color, like I want a red color. Let me select that and let me connect that to the base color. If I come here, and here I can change value like this. Any value you have any code, you can select for that. I want 0 0 and 1 for that. That's the red color, and I want to apply that. Now if I come to the world, as you can see, we are able to change the color of our shape in the world. That's great news for us. Now it's very easy for us to change the color. Let me select green color for that. Select and save the color, and now we have a green color. Whoa, that's great. Yeah, and let's make some other changes in this. Like we have metallic. Let me create a constant 1, because we only need 1 value. For the shortcut for this is pressing 1 and click, or other way, right click and search for constant 1. We should have, yeah, constant. This is, or we can come here and find constant from here, and I want to connect this to metallic and leave it as 0, but no effect is there. But if I change this to 1, now we can see our cube will change to more metallic object. If I come here, now it looks like a metallic object. Let's make some more changes. I want to come here and right click to make a new constant. Now I want to connect this to specular. Let's see the preview, what's happening with 0. I want to change its value to 1, and as you can see, now it is, first I have to make this value 0, because specular will not affect our object while there is 1 value of metallic. As you can see, now we can change the value from 1 to 0. Select 1 or 0, you can see the effect here. And now this is not a specular object, this is a very simple. But if I come and select 1 value for that, now that is little bit shiny and specular. And let me come again and come to roughness. Roughness is also very important. I want to make a new constant and connect it to roughness. Now we have more shiny object. If I come here, and as you can see, it is a shiny object, it can reflect everything. But if I come and select 1 value for this as well, now we will see something new. If I come here, now it looks really nice. Whoa. We created a very nice cube by changing some parameters in material. If I come here and change the color to red and save it, we have a nice object. This is material. A material is an asset that can be applied to a mesh like we have it, and to control the visual look of scene at a high level. And it is probably easiest to think of a material as the paint, like we are painting something and our object, we're giving it a different color. But even that can be a little bit misleading, since a material literally defines the type of surface from which your object appears to be made. You can define its color, how shiny it is, or whether you can see through the object, and much more. In more technical terms, when light from the sun hits the surface, and the material is used to calculate how that light interacts with that surface. These calculations are done using upcoming data that is input to the material from a variety of image, which is called textures. We will talk about textures in next lecture, and math expressions, as well as from various property settings inherent to the material itself. Let me tell you again, we have a simple material here, but if you want more realistic material, or for example grass material or something else, we need textures. For the textures, we can pass textures to our base color, metallic, and instead of these parameters we can pass textures for that. Let me talk about textures right now. Textures are images that are used in materials, so we know already about that, and they are mapped to the surface the material is applied to. Either texture or applied directly. For example, for base color, texture or the value of texture pixel or texels are used within the material as masks or for other calculations. In some instances, textures may also be used directly outside of materials, such as for drawing to the HUD. For the most part, textures are created extremely within an image editing application such as Photoshop, and then imported into Unreal Editor through the content browser. We can do it from here. However, some textures are generated within Unreal, such as render texture. This generally takes some information from scene and render it to a texture to be used elsewhere. That's all for now about textures. Now let me create a materials based on textures. But before that, let me tell you, we have different types of textures. What are those types of textures? Let me come here and to quick celebrate. Here I want to come to surfaces. And let me select something from here, like I want this wood. Let me select this one and let me download it. It will take some time to be downloaded, and then we will use it in our scene. It's downloaded and I can add this to our world. Now, as you can see, these are textures. Let me create a material from these textures. I want to come here and create. Okay, I will just copy it from here. Just to materials, I will select copy, and now we have these materials here. I want to save them, and now let me bring them here into our base color just by dragging and dropping. These are textures. We already know about textures, what does texture mean, but as you can see here, we have different types of textures. Like we have base color. This is our base color texture, which can be connected to the base color and can show the appearance of our world. And we have normal map. The normal map input text and normal map, which is used to provide significant physical details to the surface by purporting the normal or facing direction of each individual pixel. If you already know about normals in 3D programs, then you can easily understand what does a normal map doing. And we have roughness, and it controls how rough or smooth a material surface is. Rough materials scatter reflected light in more direction than smooth materials, which controls how blurry or sharp a reflection is, or how broad or tight a specular highlight is. A roughness of 0 smooth results in mirror reflect, and roughness in 1 rough results in diffuse or matte surface. And finally we have metallic. Here we have metallic, and as you can see here, this is base color, and this is normal map, and this is ORD, or we can connect that to our roughness. And finally the metallic input controls how metal-like your surface will be. Non-metals have metallic value of 0, and metals have the metallic value of 1, as we saw before. And for pure surface such as pure metallic, pure stone, pure plastic, and many more, this value will be 0 or 1 and not anything in between. When creating hybrid surface like corroded, dusty or rusty metals, you may find that you need some value between 1 and 0, but we will not talk about that. Just let's see how these textures are working. I want to connect base color to base color, and I want to apply and save this. Now let me come here, and as you can see, this is our new cube. It looks really nice, but I want to delete this because I want to apply this material to the ground. Let me apply this to this world, and now as you can see, I want to come to show and hide the grades because we don't need those grades. And now as you can see, it is looking nice, but still it has lots of problems because it is not reflecting light as natural light, as natural wood is doing. Let me come here and fix this problem, but still I want to come to normal map and connect this to normal, and let me save it again. As you can see, now it is a little bit better than that, but I want to delete this one back because it's not working in the right way. In this example we are only using normal map and base color. Now if I come, and now you can see what normal map is doing for world. It is even reflecting shadows and many more. For showing this, let me add one more. I want to come here again, and this time let me add something else. I think this is not the right category we are searching in. I want to come here to bricks and find some nice bricks. Like this will be good, I think. And let me download it and click and add. We have it now. Good. I want to copy them here to our material, and let me come here, and this time I want to bring all of them here. Just drag and drop, and let me delete these two because we don't need them anymore. Now let's use, let me come here again, and let's see RGB, and we will not use R, and we will use only GB. Let me connect grade. First let's connect our base color to base color, and its green color to specular. Now let me save it and see how it's working. It's not working in the right way. Let me check B or blue one and specular and save it, and I think this time it is working in the right way, but we have to do some more work and connect grain to roughness, and I think this time it will be okay. And yes, it's working really well, but still it has some problems here. As you can see, it is very sharp, and this surface is, there is no sharpness in these brakes. It is not looking like the rail brakes, because still we need to connect our normal map to the normal maps. And let me save it again. This time we will have a very realistic wall. Now as you can see, if I zoom in, even normal map allows our object to reflect the shadows. If I come here and add one more light, I want to add spotlight here to our world. Now if I come here, let me change its location a little bit and change the directional light. As you can see, let me bring it back a little bit, like it should be like in night mode. Now it's right, and now you can see we can check the shadows very well. As you can see, this material is reflecting the shadows. Here you can see shadows, but if we don't connect normal map there, then we will not have those shadows, because normal map allows our objects to have shadows and look more realistic. Normal map are very important, including specular, roughness and base color, and you can see it do a lot for our objects. But there is too much more, like we have these options. We will not talk about them in this course, because they are using in specific places, and it's not the right time to talk about them, because this is a beginner course, and I think these are enough for that: base color, metallic, specular, roughness and normal map. If you don't have lighting in your world, then there will be nothing. Lighting can help us do everything, say anything in our real world also. But you need to create lighting in Unreal Engine, because your world needs lighting. And lighting is one of the most important topics in Unreal. Let's talk about that. And now let's talk about lighting, which is very important in Unreal Engine 5. To do so, I want to create a new level. Let me create new level, a complete empty level. We can right click here, and here we have level. Or we can come here to new level and select empty level, and let's create it. This is a complete empty level, and as you can see, there is no lighting, even there is nothing, and we cannot see anything. If I come here and create a cube, as you can see, this is our cube here in the world, but we cannot see it in a good way, like it's not looking right, because we don't have lighting in our scene. To add lighting to our scene, we can come to window and we can open light mixer. As you can see, there is a very shortcut way for creating lights in Unreal Engine 5, but in Unreal Engine 4 we have to create all these lighting from here. We have to come to lighting and create all these lights from here, and we can set up them from there. But in Unreal Engine 5 we can come to window and come to light mixer. Here we can create lights. First of all, let's create a sky atmosphere, and then let me create atmospheric light, and let's create skylight and create volumetric clouds and create fog. Now as you can see, we have all the lighting and everything set up in our world, and this is our cube here. It is also looking very well, because now we have lighting, and this is a complete world. We have clouds, we have sun there. We can control our sun by just Control plus L and moving mouse around. We can move sun, and we can do any time in day we want. And after that we have some other kinds of lighting which we can create from here. First let me come here and open actors panel, and here we have to come to lighting. Here we have directional light, we have point light, we have spotlight, rectangle light, and skylight. Let's talk about them. First, there is directional light. Directional lights are primarily used as your primary outdoor light, or any light that needs to appear as if it is casting light from extreme or near infinite distance. Like here we have our sun. This is our directional light. Here we have directional light in our world. Without directional light there will be nothing in our world, because if there is no sun and earth then everything will be darker. Then that's why directional light is very important for creating outdoor scene. After that we have point light, and point lights are classic light bulb like light emitting light in all directions from a single point. Like if I come and create this point light, we can see it here. It is like a lamp, or we can see like we're using these lamps in rooms, and it is just a classic light. And there we have spotlight, which emit light from a single point and have their light limited by a set of cones. Like here we have, it is just a limited light, but we can see these lights only if you remove our directional light from our scene. And let me create a geometry, then we will be able to see these lights very well. Just in these two directions I want to make it bigger. Now as you can see, these are our lights. This is one light or point light, and this is our spotlight. As you can see, we can control these lights from its details. If I can, first we have mobility, we will talk about them just in some minutes. And here we have other settings like inner cone angle, like outer cone angle, and source radius. We have many more options. You can control its color from here, and many more options, you can find them here. Also for point light we have same settings, not same, but we can see related to point light. And here we can control its color and mobility and many more. And after that we have rectangle light. Let me add this rectangle light to the world. As you can see, this is a rectangle light in our world, and the rectangle light emits light into the scene from a rectangular plane with a defined width and height. You can use them to simulate any kind of light sources that have rectangular areas, such as televisions or monitor screens. Rectangle light do not behave like true area lights in all situations. And as you can see, we can use rectangle lights in many places, and we can control their settings from here, or you can control its light color and many more settings from here. Finally we have skylight. We already have our skylight here in our scene because we added it from our light mixers panel. And skylight are very important. It is used with directional light. Without skylight, let me give you an example of skylight. If I come here to this cube, and if I disable skylight, you can see everything is really darker and scene is not a realistic. As you can see, shadows, it looks very darker. Shadows should not be like this, but by enabling skylight you can fix this problem, and now you have a very realistic shadows in your scene. Also, skylights have lots of settings. Here you can change their settings, and add some more settings to them. We will not talk about them, but remember, skylight are very important for creating outdoor scene. Now we know about lighting, let's talk about Lumen in Unreal Engine 5. What's Lumen? Lumen is Unreal Engine 5's new fully dynamic global illumination and reflection system that is designed for next generation consoles. Lumen is the default global illumination and reflection system in Unreal Engine 5. It renders diffuse interactions with infinite bounces and indirect specular reflections in large detailed environments at scales ranging from millimeters to kilometers. Lumen is enabled through a project setting in Unreal Engine by default, but we can disable Lumen from post-process volume, or we can disable it from Unreal Editor settings. First, let me talk about disabling Lumen in Unreal Engine 5, then we will know what is Lumen and why should we enable or disable Lumen. We don't have post-process volume in this template. This is a third-person template in Unreal Engine 5. Let me come here and add one post-process volume from visual effects. Then I will come to details. We already talk about post-process volume. I will not explain it again. Infinite extend, I will enable it until this post-process affect all our world. Then I will come here, and here we have global illumination. Here we have global illumination. To disable global illumination, I want to select method and come to Lumen. As you know, Lumen is selected by default, but I can select none for that. Now you can see how our world is without Lumen. This is not the real shadows without Lumen. This is a fake shadows. We call it fake shadows. But with coming a global illumination or Lumen system in Unreal Engine 5, we were able to have realistic shadows in our scene. Let me show you what is fake shadow and what is realistic shadows. If I come back to global illumination here, I will come and select our post-process volume again, and let me come to global illumination and select Lumen back for that. This is what we call global illumination. We can understand it better while we select better textures or materials for our ground or shape. I want to come and create a new material and name it ground. This will be our ground material. Let me come here and give it a white color. That's black color, and come here and select white color for that, and let me save it. Now let me apply these textures and the ground, and let me give it a little bit specular. Change it to 0.5, and let me give it a little bit roughness as well. That's okay, I think, and let me save it. And now, as you can see, this is, let me duplicate this material for our cube as well, and I will open this and give it a color like red and save it. Now let me apply this texture and this cube. Now you can understand better what is global illumination or what is Lumen system in Unreal Engine 5. Now if I disable Lumen, select none for that, this is what we call fake shadows, because it is not reflecting from ground. What is in the ground, like it is white color. This white color should affect this red color a little bit, and this red color should affect this white color in the ground a little bit. But in fake shadows, or which was before Lumen, was not like that, and it was not affecting one object, was not able to affect another object by its material. But by coming illumination, we can do this. Now you can see this material can affect this material, and this material can affect this material, like you can see it here. If I come here and change its color to green, now you can see we have little bit greenish color on the ground. But if I come here and change ground color to something like red, now you can see this ground material is going to affect our cube material. Like you can see we have little bit red color in our cube, and we have little bit greenish color in our ground. That's all possible only by Lumen. But if I come and disable Lumen, as you can see now, one object is not able to affect another object. That's what we call Lumen. And you can enable or disable Lumen from post process volume. You can select none for that, or you can select Lumen for that. We have some other options here, we will not talk about that. But if you want to see where you can change the quality of your Lumen, then you can come to project setting, and here you can come to rendering. Here we have rendering, and in rendering you can come down and we can find global illumination. Here we have reflection system and we have global illumination. If I come to global illumination, I can enable or disable global illumination from here as well. Or you can change the quality of your global illumination from screen space to standalone retraced, or as you can see here we have more information about that. By selecting more options, you can change its reflection method and reflection settings. But if I come to Lumen, here I have software retracing mode. We have two types of retracing in Lumen. One is called detailed retracing. It is very detailed retracing and it needs a more powerful computer to do this. If your computer is not able to do detailed retracing, then you can select global retracing for your Lumen system. Then your slow or your weak computer will also be able to retrace Lumen system, because global illumination is easy to be retraced, but detailed retracing is very difficult for a computer. If your computer is weak, you can select global retracing for that, otherwise you can select detailed tracing for that. Landscape is one of the most important topics in Unreal Engine 5 because we need to create large worlds, outdoor worlds in Unreal Engine 5 for our games. To do so, we need landscapes, and in this section let's talk about landscapes. Now let's talk about landscapes in Unreal Engine 5. Landscape is a very important topic in Unreal Engine 5. To talk about this most important topic, let me create a new level. I want to come here and create a new level and give it a name, landscapes, and I will open this. This is a blank level and nothing is there. First of all, I want to come here to window and light mixer and create some lights we need. First of all, I want to create our sky atmosphere, and then let me create atmospheric light. Now you can see something in the world, you can see sun there also. Let me create fog, and this time let me create volumetric clouds, and finally let's create skylight. and we have not to create atmospheric light one because we already have one of them in our world. Let me close that panel, and this is our world. Now let's talk about landscape. If you come here, we have different modes here. We have select mode for editing our map, we have landscape mode for creating landscapes, foliage mode for painting foliage, we will talk about that, and there is mesh paint, we have modeling, and many more. Here we will not talk about them, we only want to talk about these three in this course. Let me select landscape mode and create a landscape for our world. This is landscape. We can create landscape for large world. First, let me tell something about landscape. The landscape system enables you to create terrain for your world. Mountains, valley, uneven or sloped ground, even opening for caves, and easily modify both its shapes and its appearance by using a range of tools we have here in landscape mode system. Here we have three tabs. We have manage tab, we have sculpt tab, and paint tab. First of all, I want to talk about manage tab. From manage tab we can create new landscape. As you know, we don't have any landscape in our ground, then let's create one new landscape. You can import landscape from your file, but we will not talk about that. Let me come to create landscape, and first we have enable edit layers. We will not talk about this because that is something belongs to splines. We have landscape material. We can select different material for our landscape. Like we have lots of materials here, we can select any of them, but we have to create landscape material. For now, let me select any material. Like I'll select this material. I don't know which material is that, but let me select that one. And then here we have its location. That's the right location, I think, for our landscape. It's the rotation of our landscape. We will not change its rotation, and it's the scale of our landscape. If you want to create large landscapes, then don't change the scale of your landscape. You can change its sections, like you can select different number of quads for that. 63 is good, I think, and you can add more sections to your world. But I think one by one section is enough for us. And here you can add number of components. What is number of component? You can add more number of component to your world. Let me zoom in, and as you can see here we have, I want to change camera speed a little bit. Now you can see what is, we have how many components here. I want to add more components, and by this way I can select that should I create a big landscape or a small landscape. And here you can select resolution for your landscape. You can change its resolution, but I think this is enough. And total components means that how many components here we have in our landscape. 736 components we have. That's a large number of components in our world, but I want to change it to 8, and this one also to 8, and let me change it to something like 1080, and let me select this. That's the right, I think this is right landscape and good landscape for us, and that's enough. Let me create this landscape and see what's happening now. Now this is a very big landscape. Let me change its material. I think we have not selected the right material for that. Let me select landscape and come to its details. Here we have its landscape material. I want to select some other material. Here we have this material. I want to select this material for our landscape, and now this is our landscape with the right material. This is not a good material, but still it looks good. As you can see, this is a very big world. If you want to see how much big this world is, you can add some things to your world. I want to add third person character, then by that way we will be able to see that how much this world is big. Now you can see this is the size of a human, and this is the size of our world in Unreal Engine 5. It is so big world we created right now. Let me change camera speed that we will be able to go faster like this. Now you can see this is our character and this is our world. It is too much big world, and we can create even a big city in this big world. But first let me check some other things in landscape mode. Let me come back to landscape mode, and now we have, after manage, we have sculpt. But let's first talk about manage little bit more. What is more in manage? Here in manage you can import any landscape, or you can select these components. You can add more components, like here you can add more components to your landscape. You can delete any component, like, oh, that was selected components, those were deleted, but first I have to deselect this component because we don't want to delete these components. I want to come to delete, and now I can delete any component I want. You can move these components or you can resize them, but we will not talk about all of them. These add, delete, and these are important. Now let's come to sculpt mode, but before coming to sculpt mode I want to add these components back because these will make problem for us. Now if I come to sculpt mode, and now I can add some mountains, some waves, and some other things to our world. Here we have lots of options. We will not talk about all of them. We only want to talk about sculpt, smooth, and flatten brushes here. First we have selected sculpt, and by sculpt brush we can sculpt our world and add some details to our world, as you can see it here. Like now I can change brush type, which type of brush you want. I can change between different brushes here, but I want to select this, the default brush here. And after that we have brush fall-offs. We can select different fall-offs, like this is the default fall-off, and we can select this one. This is little bit different, and we can select this one that is also different with these two, and we have this one. Let me check this one. We have different fall-offs here, and we can select any one of them, but let me select the default one. And here we have total strength. If I select one, now it is working very faster, but if I select a small value for that, now it is working slowly and its strength is slow. And then we can change brush size, like now we have a bigger brush. I want to change its size to a smaller, or I can change its size to much bigger. Now it is a very bigger brush, and we can make bigger and like mountains or something like this. So that's now something beautiful, I think. And then we can select this one back. Here we can come to brush fall up. We already talked about brush fall up types, but let's change brush fall up. Like we have sharper brush, or we have more smooth brush. Now it is very sharp, as you can see here, but we can select very smooth brush. Now it is a very smooth brush and everything is very smoothly. After that we can select smooth brushes. Smooth brush is going to smooth these areas, like here we have these very sharp edges, we can smooth them by selecting smooth brush. Smooth brush also have different brush types. We already know about that. Total strength, and we have its radius, we have brush size and brush fall up. We already know about that. Just smooth brush is for smoothing these sharp areas, and sculpt is for sculpting new details in our world. And finally we have flatten. Flatten brush is also one of the most important brushes in Unreal Engine for sculpting these landscapes. Like sometimes we need a road here. I want to change its size a little bit. Like this is a mountain, I would add a road here. Now I can add it here. As you can see, it is going to do everything according to the last selected point. Like if I want to make this flatten brush is using to make all these areas smoothly and in same direction. Like now you can see, mostly we are using these brushes for creating roads or ways or these things, or making this kind of places in our world. What does this brush do? It is selecting the middle point, and it is just smoothing. If that area is bigger, then it is bringing it down, or if it is down, it is bringing it up. Like you can see it here. This is flatten brush. It is also very important brush, but we can select smooth brush and make these areas smooth. Now you can see, or we can select sculpt brush back and sculpt some more details here. You can use these brushes and do a lot, or you can use these brushes and see what are they doing, but we don't have that much time in this course and will not talk about all of them. And finally we have paint brush. Paint brush is for painting new details and the ground. Like you can see now, all our landscape is made from bricks, but we have not seen any landscape like this which is made from bricks. We are not using bricks for ground. Like ground is made from grass, it is made from dust or from stones. Using brick material on the ground is not the right way, and we have to paint different kind of materials at the same time on one landscape, because for example we have to have some grass here, and we have to have some waves here, or some dust or some other things here, because one world is made from lots of things. That's why we have to talk about paint after creating landscape material. Now we have landscapes, but we need something else which is called landscape material. That is very important. We used a simple material for our landscape, but that's not working in proper way. We need to create landscape material, and now let's do that. Let's create landscape material from select mode. First I want to come here and I want to create a new material. First I want to come to materials and create new folder first here and name it L material or landscape materials, and here I want to create new material and name it L materials. This is our landscape material, and here we will add different properties for our landscape, blending different kind of materials. First let me add some materials that we have to blend them, or different kind of textures to make a landscape material from that. To do so, I want to introduce you Megascans library. Megascans library has more than 16,000 free assets, including materials, textures, 3D free assets, and many more. You can find them here. You can see there is more than 16,000 assets. First you have to log in and create a free account here, and then you can use all these free materials from mega scans, or you can install Bridge. But for Unreal Engine 5 you don't need to install Bridge, because we already have access to Quixel library from Unreal Engine 5 directly. Here if I come and select, there we have 3D assets. We have different types of 3D assets, and we can just add them by dragging and dropping them. I want to introduce this library to you. If I come here, you can just drag and drop this object to your world, and now you have this with a very high quality. Or any object here you need, you can add them, but we need some materials. Then I want to come to surfaces, and then we need some grass material. I want to add some grass material to our ground. Let me come here and select this one. I want to download this one because we need this grass material in our world. Here you can select different qualities for that, and here some other settings about your mega scans. And then after downloading them, you can click an add button and it will be added directly to your project. Let me close this and let me come here and select one more. Like this time I'll select ground, and I will find some ground materials. Like, let me select one of them. I want to select this one, like forest floor. Anyone you want to select, but for this lecture I want to select this one. Let me download this one, and then we will search for some others. After downloading this, I want to add this one also, and then let me come here and add some soil. Let me select this one, or if it's not good, let me search for this one. I think this one is good, this mud ground. I think these 3 textures are enough. You can select any one of them, you can search for them and find the best one for yourself, but I think for my project this is enough, these 3, because this is a tutorial project and we will not search a lot for them. Now I want to come to my landscape material and open this. Let me close these 2 materials because we will not use them. And now let me come to my materials, and here I have this. To combine different kind of materials for our landscape, we have to search for a node which is called landscape layer blend. This node we are searching for. Landscape layer blend node is using for combining different kind of materials, textures, and we can use them for material, and we can paint them, all of them at the same time. As you can see, it don't have any input node, or it don't have anything to be selected. First of all, I want to select this one and come to its details and add some options to this. I want to give it a name like this is grass. Let me select this node again and let me add one more, and I want to give this a name like this is mud, and let me select it again and add one more because we have 3, and this is forest floor. These 3 textures we want to combine them and paint them. I want to select these 2 base color, and let me come to our mega scans. Here we have mega scans, and here we have surfaces. We want to add grass first. This is Where is our grass? I think this is the grass. No, it's not. This is grass. I want to add base color of this grass and connect this one to our grass layer, and let me come this time to mud and add this one and connect this one to our mat. And finally we have to come to forest floor, and let me add this one as well, and let me connect this one here. Now as you can see, I want to save this material, and let me come to landscape, and here let me select this landscape, and I want to apply that material to our landscape. Let me come here and come to our materials, to landscape materials, and apply this material to our landscape material. After waiting some time, as you can see, everything is black and nothing is working in the right way. That's because we have to come to paint mode here in landscape mode to paint, and here we want to create wet blended layer to save information of this layer. And after creating wet layer, you can see our material is working. Let me create information layer for this one as well, and finally for forest, like this. Now we have everything, and still we have only grass in our ground. This grass is looking good because now our world is looking a few more realistic, but still it has lots of problems. Let me talk about paint first. Where we have grass in all the world, we want to add some mat. I want to select mat, and now I can easily paint mat in our ground and mix them, like you can see them here. Here we have this mat, and there we have grass here. Finally, if I come and select forest floor here, and now I can paint forest floor also. You can add different ways, you can add different styles, like, and you can make it more realistic, like a realistic world. You can change its strength, like 1% strength, it will do it 100%, and 0 it will do it slowly or maxable. Now you can see we have lots of problems here with our ground because it is reflecting light a lot. That's why we have to add some more options for that. If I come here to our downloaded textures from Megascans library to forest, first let me come to grass. Here we have some more options. If I open this, here we have RGB options, and in every one of them there is saved one layer, one setting. Here we have its details. We can find more information about that. Here you can see. Now let me come here to our landscape setting and add some more settings to this. I want to duplicate this just by pressing Ctrl D. Now it is duplicated, and I want to connect this. Now I want to connect this wire to our specular, and let me duplicate it again, and this time connect this to roughness, and finally let me duplicate it again, and I will connect this to the normal map. Now let me add this one, and I want to connect the grain channel. This is our, yes, that's grass. I want to connect grain to here to grass to specular, and below here to roughness, and let me add its normal map here. I will bring it down, and let me connect this to grass here. Now let me save and see how it's working. Now if I come here to our ground, as you can see, after compiling shaders, here we have some problems. It is not working in the right way. Let me connect this one here, and let me connect this one here. Now if I save and come here, now as you can see, it is working very well. Everything is working good. And let me create some more options, some more settings here to solve these problems. I'm gonna come here again and come to mud and add these two also, and this one is for normal map. I will connect this one to normal map, here to mud. Is it right? Yes. And now let me come here and this blue channel here and this green channel here, and finally I want to come to first floor and add these ones. This one is normal map and this one is for roughness. I want to connect this one here and green channel here. Finally I want to come to our normal map and connect our normal maps here. If I save it and come to landscape, as you can see, everything is working in the right and everything is very well, looks nice. This time we don't have that reflection problem. Still we have little bit, but we have to fix them. If I come here and just to roughness, I want disconnect this one. If I come and check if I selected the right channel for roughness, I think this is the red channel is for roughness. That's why I wanna select red channel for roughness. Yes, let me connect this red channel for roughness here and connect this red channel here for roughness. They are working right. This one, and this one. Yes, let me save. And now if I check, still it has a problem, then I will come here and add some values to roughness. I think I have to select one value for roughness, and let me save it this time and come back. This time it's working good, and I think it's better than before because now we don't have that reflection problem in all our materials, and everything is little bit good, not that much good, because we have to create a master or a great material for landscape. It takes long time. I will create a different tutorial for that. You can find that in my YouTube channel, but for now I think it's enough. But let me talk about it a little bit more, because as you can see here we have a problem. As you can see, it is repeated textures. For fixing this problem or changing the size of these repeated textures, you can come here and search for a node called texture coordinate. I want to add this one and add multiply. Now I want to connect this one here and it is here, and let me add one variable, one value here, and connect it here. Now let me change it to 0.5 and connect to this one and connect this one to this one. Let me bring it down and hook it up all of them. Now we can save it, and after saving it I can cam. As you can see, we changed its size little bit. Let me change it to 0 and see what's happening now. Now if I come here and look here, it is very as you can see, oh, it is, I think this time they are very small. I want to change it to some value like 3, and this time if I save it and come, as you can see, still it is too much smaller. I want to change it to 0.1, and this time it is bigger. As you can see, you can change, you can give it different values, and you will have different texture sizes in your ground. But every time you have not to save it because it takes long time. If you have a bigger textures, lots of properties here, then saving it will take long time. For solving this problem, or we don't have a real-time example, if I change this value I have to save it and wait some time for compiling it. It takes long time. But for solving that problem, we have something which is called texture instance. Let me come to our materials. Sorry, not texture material instance, material instance. I will right click on this and will tell it create material instance. Now it is the instance of this material. All properties are here, but from our instance we also can change some values, but till now we don't have, and we cannot change any values. Only physics on the default values are there. But we want to solve this problem, and we want to control our texture size from our texture instance. Now I want to create here and tell it convert to parameter and change it texture size. This time I will save it, and as you can see here I have texture size, and this now I can control our texture size from here. But now if I change this size, as you can see, we don't have any result here because we have to come here and select our landscape, its details and its landscape material, and I select I want to apply its instance, and that because now we will be able to control our parameters from here. You can change it to a bigger or smaller, any value you want. You can see it in real time. You don't have to save it before checking it. Now you can see if I want this one, and I think this is the right texture size for me. I want to save it now, and now you can see everything is okay. The good news is that now we have everything in real time. And if I come here and change these two parameters, convert to parameter and name it grass, and convert this one to parameters, name it mud. Then let me convert this one to parameters and name it forest floor. Now as you can see, we converted all of them to parameters. Now we have a master material. Master material means that we can change everything directly from our material instance. Now if I come to material instance, here I can change any value I want from here. As you can see, if I come to our ground, everything is working right, because here one problem is there with our height fog. I want to disable this one because or let me enable this and bring it down a little bit. that it should not affect our ground. Now you can see everything is working right. And if I want to change any material here, like this time, maybe in future I need another grass, let me add one more grass material from our Quixel bridge. I want to come to surface again, and this time I want to select grass again. Where is our grass? Here it is. And this time I can select this grass. Maybe I like this grass this time. I want to download this. After downloading it, I can add it to my world. Now I have it here. For changing our textures, I don't need to create a new material, or I don't need to come here and delete these materials and add instead of that new materials to that will take big time from us. Let me change. Oh, there is one problem. I have to change this I have to fix that problem. For fixing that problem, I want to come to material instance, and here I can easily change any material I want from here directly. Like you can see, and select this one, enable this and this, and let me change grass. This is, I want to just apply this grass here. Now you can see everything changed, and now we have a new grass. You can change all these textures from here directly from material instance. You can create this material instance and change everything you want to change from material instance to parameters, and then you can do anything you want from material instance directly, very easily, and do it in a better way. That's all about landscape material. Now let's talk about foliage, how to add some foliage to the world. Let's add some foliage, some grass and some trees to the world. To do so, we have a mode which is called foliage mode. From here we can paint foliage and add foliage to our world, but we don't have any foliage in our current project. We have to add some foliage and some foliage meshes, and then we can paint them on the ground. To add, so again I want to add them from Quixel bridge library, because there's lots of grass and we will add those grass to our world. I want to come here to 3D assets. We have also 3D plants here, and let me search for any plant we want. Like, let me download this one, and I already have downloaded this one. Only I need to export this one, and as you can see I exported that. After downloading them, I can export them to my project, and as you can see I exported these, and I think these are enough for now. I will paint these grass in our world. Now let me come to our foliage mode, and as you can see we have all these foliage here. If you don't have foliage here which you imported to your program, you can easily drag and drop them. Let me come here to plant. For example, if this one is not there, you can easily drag and drop them here. By that way you can add them there. But Unreal Engine 5 is smart enough to understand which is foliage in your project. As you can see all these foliage are there. I want to select them. First let me select all of them like this, then I can select them from here. Now I can paint them on the ground, but here you can see we have select mode, we have select all, deselect, invalid, and much more, but we will not talk about all of them. We want to talk about paint and erase mode. Let me first talk about paint in Foliage. After selecting paint, here we have some settings. Brush size, I want to change brush size. Paint density, I want to decrease it a little bit, and here we have erase density. We will talk about erase density just in some time. You can see I want to come to their properties here, and first I want to come to their density and change its density to let me change it to 1 because it is too much density, and we can come and change their scale. I want to select a uniform scale, like in one place it will be bigger, in one place it will be smaller, like 0.3 to 1. That is the size. Now if I paint it, their density is too small because we don't have them here. I want to come and check them here. All of them are selected. Let me select them. As you can see, they're selected, and let me change their density to 10 this time, and I will see. Now you can see we have them little bit in the ground. Here we painted our these flowers and plants here in the ground. We can add more of them just by clicking and painting them. We can come to their details again and change their scale to 1 to 3. Now their scale will be a little bit bigger because we want a little bit bigger one. Now as you can see, we have bigger of them, and I think now their density is too much because like you can see, we don't have that much. Let me erase them back. Just by using erase tools, we can erase them like this, and I want to change their density back to 2 this time. Again, we don't have any because it's let me change it to 7, and this time we have to have them. Still we don't have. Why? I don't know. Because their density is too small. Let me change it back to 10, and this time it will work back. Like you can see, oh sorry, we are in erase mode. That's sometimes I face this kind of problems. I think why it's not working, but I don't know. Well, I selected erase mode. Now let me change their density back to 3, and this time 3 will work. Yeah, 3 is working right, and last time we just selected erase mode, and I don't know why it's not working. Sometimes we are facing this kind of problems, but it's okay. I think now you can see we can paint different kind of grass, foliage, and many more types. Like we can paint some kind of rocks or many more things we need, and the ground, like you need to create a realistic ground in your world. That's why you need to paint many things. Then you cannot place these actors one by one. Then for solving this kind of problems, Unreal Engine have a very good option. It have a very good mode even, and which is called Foliage mode. And from Foliage mode you can add any mesh like rocks or anything you want, trees, plants, or anything. You can add them, and then you can paint them, you can erase them, you can change their scale, you can select a uniform scale, or you can change their density, anything you want. We will not talk about them because there's lots of things in their details. If you select one mesh, then there's lots of settings you can use them, but still if you had any problem, I will make another lecture just for Foliage mode, one lecture for landscape, and many more, because there's lots of things in Unreal Engine 5. We cannot cover all of them in one course or in one lecture. It's time to create our fantastic game, and I know you're waiting for this game. Let's download Lyra and let's use its assets in our own world. Now I think you know everything about Unreal Engine 5 as a beginner. Now let's talk about something advanced, which is importing some free assets from Epic Games, and we will talk about them, how they're made and how can we change them, bring some change in them, and how can we make them our own. To do so, I want to come to Epic Games. After launching Unreal Engine 5, Epic Games also released one free project, which is a complete beginner's game, which is called Lyra. It is a starter game, and we can see how Unreal Engine is powerful and how it is working. This is a complete game of Unreal Engine 5, and it's called Lyra. Let's create a new project in Lyra, and then we will talk about how to make change in Lyra and how can we use its characters, its artificial intelligence characters, and many more objects in our own project. Let me first click and create project. You can find it by coming to marketplace, coming to home. It is completely free and it will be free in the future also. If you don't see it here, you can search for Lyra here, Lyra, and then here you will find Lyra starter game. Just by clicking that, you will have this, and then first you will have to download this, because first option for you will be download option. You can download this, but I already downloaded it, and then I want to create new project in that. Let me create a new project, and let me select a place for that. I want to select desktop and create new folder and desktop. I want to give it a name like Lyra, and let me create. After clicking and create project, you have to wait for some time until it will be downloaded, and then your project will be ready for you. Then you can open it. Let's wait some time for it. Now as you can see, our project is created, and we can come, and I want to close this project because we don't need this project anymore. This is my Lyra project, and I can come here, and I want to click on this because this is our project. And let's wait some time for this, and then we will have Lyra. And this is Lyra project. As you can see, we have these options here, and this is the first and very basic map in Lyra. Lyra has lots of things, lots of assets with itself, like it has sound effects, has different characters and effects, many more things you can see here, and we can use them in our own game, or we can learn how we can make advanced things in Lyra. But before talking about Lyra, let's play Lyra and see how it is, and how much powerful this game is. Let me click on play. As you can see, in this is a blank level. We don't have anything here. I want to skip this one and create our game, and let me come here. We can come to shooter maps content, and here I can come to maps and click here. As you can see here, we don't have anything. It also looks like a completely blank level, but if you can see, it is not blank level. There is around 3000 actors in this level, but we cannot see them. That's why we cannot see them. We will talk about that, but before that, let's play the game and see how it is working and how much powerful it is. Oh, this is Lyra. Let's play. As you can see, there is lots of options. There is artificial intelligent characters. Oh, they're shooting me, and as you can see, I can come here, and here I can take health. Here I have some weapons. I can take them. I can change between different weapons. As you can see, every weapon after shooting, they have their own effects. And then I can come outside and I can shoot different characters. But before that, I want to take some health from here, and my health is 100 again. And ooh, please, I'm shooting my my friend. Ooh. So that's a difficult game. As you can see, there is lots of things in this game. We will talk about them step by step, but before that, let's talk about why we cannot see anything in this level. This is a blank level, but while we'll play, clicking and play, then we have lots of things, a complete level there. That's because we have world partition in Unreal Engine 5. World partition is something that we can create large worlds in this program, and by hiding some parts of that, we can increase the performance of our world and our computer. As you can see, everything is hidden here. If I select all this map and right click on this and tell loud selected cells, then now I will have everything which is included in this map. Now, as you can see, this is the map of Lyra. There is something there down, but we are playing our game here, and there is lots of things. There is different actors there, and we have player stars here. We have sound effects there, and here we have different weapons. As you can see, this is also a weapon, and there we have some more options. As you can see here, there is lots of things in this game. But now let's talk about how to increase our Lyra map. For increasing that, as you can see, if I come here, if I come to tools, and then I have lots of tools here. For example, I wanna add this mesh here, and let me bring this mesh this side, and as you can see, from here I can come to its details. Before that, let me close world partition because we don't want to talk about them more. But this is a large topic in Unreal Engine 5. I think I have to create a new lecture or a new course about that. You can find them in my YouTube channel. Let me close this and come to its details. Here I can change different, like wall width. I can change from here, like I can change its thickness, I can change its height. From here, different options are there, and then I can come here, and before that, let me click on this and come to its scripted actor actions, swap to static mesh, but we don't want to change it to right now to static mesh. I want to, before that, I want to change some settings here. Like you can see, I can bring its window into one other side, or I can change some other options here, like change some settings here. If I come here to cutter, and then I can make different settings. You can change different settings here, or I can come here and select mirror location, or I can come to opening, and here I can change its opening width or opening height. From here I can change different settings. You can change its radius or many more. Clear materials, you can clear its materials, and back to static mesh, generate new static mesh. You can generate it as a new static mesh, and now it will be a new static mesh, or you can tell him back to static mesh, and now it will be as a static mesh. Now, as you can see, now its texture is not a good texture. I want to change its textures or material. and for changing that I can come to materials, and from here I can apply different kind of materials. And as you can see, Lumen is enabled here because we can see its reflections right there, and it looks really nice. You can come back here to tools, and there is different types of things you can make them, you can change them. Let me come back here, and here I want to add some more options there. Let me apply this one. This is a black, or you can apply this material there. This is a wet material, and I think this is a good material for that. It looks really nice. And we have different materials right there. You can add these stairs, and you can rotate them in this way. You can bring them here, and here you can change it like its size. You can bring it top, or you can change it to this side, and then you can come to its details. From its details you can change different settings. Like here you have different settings, and you can come down and change number of height like this, or you can change number of steps. 24 steps are enough, I think, for now. And after completing it, again you can right click on this and swap to static mesh again, and now we have it as a static mesh. Let me change its material. Here we have different types of materials, or you can create your own material, because we know already how to create new materials. We already talked about that. I want to apply this material, but that's not the right material. Let me come back to tools, and let me apply this material. This white material is okay for that, and I think it is working. Now there's some more tools. You can add these tools, and you can create your own map, you can create your own level, and you can add all these static mesh and all these player stars and these weapons there. If I come here, let me close these tools. We already know about these tools. You can make changes in every one of them, because every one of them has their own settings. You can apply different material textures and anything you want. But after that, let's have and talk about weapons. Here we have different weapons. We have spawn pod here, and you have these materials here. You can add, you can see how their spawn parts are working, or you can come and close this one. Let's come to plugins. We have all these static mesh right there. You can use any one of them you want, but let me come to its plugins. We have Lyra examples, their mega scans. You can see there are used mega scans also there, and these are their materials. You can apply any material to any place you want. For example, I don't want this material right there. I can change easily their material from here, or you can change its material to some other material like this. Now you can see this one here, or red one, you can change it to red material. Any material you want, you can change this, because now this is your own level. You can create your own tools, you can add your own meshes, and you can change settings as you want. Finally, let me come down, and let's talk about some other options here. If I come here, we have some other options here. Shooter core content, and here we have gameplay cues, we have input, we have maps here, system user interface. If I come to shooter contents, here we have something which is called blueprint. I want to open blueprints, and from here I can add different kinds of things, like I want to add this one here, or you can add teleport from here, weapon spawner, or launcher up. There's lots of options, but we will talk about weapon spawner here. because for example we need some more weapons here. I want to add this one here, and let me select weapon for that. I can come to Lyra, and here I will find weapon definition, and now I can select, for example, I want to select rifle here. Here I want a spawn light rifle and duplicate this. Beside of that, I want to spawn something else, like let me spawn big health, and that's it. Let me play the game this time, and now as you can see here, I have my rifle here. I can add rifle, and this is a good rifle, and now I can play with this rifle. I'm not a good game player, but as you can see, I lost the game again. But we are talking about these things, which is important for spawning these things. We already know about this, as you can see here, and then you can change its colors, like health should have green color and rifle should have some color like blue color. Any color you want, you can change their colors, and while you're playing you will see them in the same color. Now let's see how to use Lyra's contents or their characters in our other games. Like if we have our own levels, how can we use their contents? I want to come here, to shooter contents. Here we have maps, but I don't talk about this map. Now I want to come to shooter map contents, to maps, and here I want to create a new level and give it a name like my Lyra, and this is my Lyra map, and I want to open this my Lyra, save selected contents, and this is my Lyra. Here I can come to window, I can add some lightings here, but I don't want to add these lightings here. Let me add my own contents from Epic Games, because we have thousands of free assets in Epic Games. I will show you how to download them and how can you use them for your own. Let me come here, and here we have lots of objects. So some of them are paid, but some of them are free. As you can see them here, you can come to free tab and you will see all the free assets here. But I want to find one which is called something. Let me search for that, and then finally I will find it somewhere. Let me come here. Here I have it, lawfully. This one I want to add. You can search for this one here in search bar, then you will find this. I want to add this to project, but you have to download that. I want to add this to project, which is our project. Let me see which was our own project, Lyra starter game. I think this one will be ours. Let's check the name, Lyra starter game. I think this is the right one. Let me select this project and add this to project. Wait some time and it will be added. Remember, you can add all these free assets from Epic Games content or paid assets. If you want to buy these paid assets, you can buy them from here and then you can add them to your own project. But there is thousands of free assets, free maps. You can use them. You can see this city simple buildings. You can see this city simple, which is made by Unreal Engine, and it's too much big city, and there's lots of options. There's lots of vehicles, buildings, characters, and many more. If you want to download these characters just one by one, you can download this vehicle simple, or you can add these people or character sample, or you can add buildings only. Anything you want, you can add them from here, or you can search in free. And that was the way to first you have to download them, and then you have to add them to project. And after adding them to project, you can come to project, and here you will have them. This is our Lyra project. But first let me show you where is our that project. Here you can see this is what we added right now. I want to come here, and here we have these blueprints. You can add all these blueprints and create your own map, or you can use already created maps. There is materials, meshes. These meshes are used, and you can use all these meshes for creating your own map. You already know about how to drag and drop them to world, and how to create your own map, how to duplicate them, how to move them. Everything you already know about them. We already talked about that, and we created everything, created new objects and these things. But if you want to use their created maps, you can find maps, and I want open map 1. All these maps are created already, and this is a created map. You can see from here, like here it is, and there is different rooms, there is different objects. If you want to make some change, you can, for example, if you want to change its location, you can bring it this side, or you can, anything you want you can change here, or you can add them more. You can create your own level, anything you want. But I want to copy all these objects because I want to use them in my own Lyra. Let me select all these. We already created our own map here. I want to come down here, and this is shooter maps content. Here is our maps. This is my Lyra, and here what is which I created. I want to paste them here because I want to use them in my Lyra. And yes, we have them here. For example, we created this map. You can create your own map because you have thousands free assets. Now you can create a new level, you can create money levels. But now let me show you how to use Lyra characters. For using that, let me open this map again. Let me select save selected objects there, and I will open this. From this level we only need player starts, because all those actors we have already in this project. I want to close world partition from here and search for player start, and let me select all these player starts and copy them, and I want to come to my map, my Lyra, and here I can paste them. Let me go outside a little bit because I will be able to see them, and now let me paste them here. As you can see, I have all these player stars. Some of them are here and some of them are there. And now let me come first and place these player stars in the right place, like there. I want to place them in this place, in this room. Some characters should spawn in this room, and let me deselect these characters. This one is here. I will select this one also, this, and let me deselect all these, and now let me deselect this one also, and now I will bring all these characters and I will place them in some other place here. As you can see, I want to bring them this side and here inside the room and bring them a little bit up. I will come inside the room and we'll see if is this the right place for that. Yes, that's the right place. But let me bring them a little bit this side, and you can choose your own locations for them, or you can choose your own, you can create your own map. Then it will be easy for you to manage these characters. As you can see, after placing all these actors, if I come and play the game now, we will have something here, but it will not be working. As you can see, it is not working in the right path because we have some problems right here. Let me quit it, because we have to come to world setting, and here we can come here. Let me come a little bit up, and here I want to select shooter game elimination, and after selecting that, this time if I play a game, you can see everything is working right. They're shooting me. Oh, the kill is gonna kill me. So, and I spawned again. I will go this side, but as you can see, those characters are not moving because they don't have the power to move. Only I can move because we have some problems. And then I will talk about this. How can we solve this problem? Why these characters cannot move? Because we have some problem here. I will have a different lecture for that. That's why artificial intelligent characters cannot move without something which is called nav mesh. But let me just, in this lecture you have to come to place actors, and here search for something which is called nav mesh bound volume, and you can add this. This is something which can define that in which area an artificial intelligent character can move. This helps them that you can move, and you cannot move on walls, you can move on stairs. Everything related to walking for artificial intelligent characters belongs to this nav mesh bound volume. If you want to show how it's working, you can come to navigation, and here it shows that in which place an artificial intelligent character can move. Let me scale it because it have to cover all our map. I want to make it bigger like this. Now you can see it is defining that in which places an artificial actor can move. Here it can move here, but he cannot move on the walls and in this place. And now this time I want to hide navigation back. Shortcut for this is P, and this time if I play the game, then those characters will move. Let me move down. He is going to move. For after doing that, we will be able to move. Let me go up again. As you can see, this time he's moving. He can tell me, he can move back, and they're walking in the world. That's all possible details. And calm down because it's so fast. Characters so fast. To make our game little bit easier, I want to change these actors places because some of them should be in other places, like in down floor, and like let me move them into other places because it is not good to have all characters in the same room because they're killing each other too much faster. And as you can see, these actors are out of our world. Let me select this and this and move them down inside to the room. You can place them in right place, but as you can see, it is not, we don't have that much time to arrange everything in the better way, but you have lots of time, you can arrange them. And now let me play the game, and this time we have, I don't know where I'm in the space. I'm down because as you can see, our player start is not in the right place. Yes, it should be, we have to bring them little bit up. Let me select the move option for them, and I want to move them up, bring them this side. Now let me select all these player starts, because we still have problem with player stars. Like this one is downstairs. Now I selected this place for that one, this room. He will spawn in this room. Now this time let me play the game and we will see what's happening. I'm in this room, and those are characters are coming inside, and I want to shoot them. He's coming again, and that's difficult for me to shoot them because this is too small now, and there's lots of characters. But we do have one problem, is that we don't have different weapons, we don't have health and these things. We have to add some health options, some weapon options to our game. To do so, let me come here, and this time to shooter, not here. I have to shooter core contents and come to blueprint, and here I can come to weapon spawner, and I can add these weapon spawners here, and come to its details. Let me close these settings, and here in Lyra we can select weapon. This time here I need to add some health, and after that let me add here some like pistol. Let me add one more here, and this time I want to add let me add rifle. In this game, oh, my camera speed is too fast. Let me change it to 2 because I will be able to control everything very well. Let me come down here. I will bring it here because so that will be easy for me to manage. Let me change its color a little bit to green because we will be able to see them easily. Let me add one more weapon in this side, and I want this time here like pistol, and change its color to some color like this, and let me duplicate it again, and this time let me add one more weapon, and it should be like this weapon. I don't know its name. Let me change its color, and let me duplicate it again here and bring him down. You can place any weapons you want, you can change them from here. I want to select rifle again and change its color to green color, and we have these weapons there. Now if I play the game, I will have these options there also, like let me go back side, and oh, I'm not walking on the right way, so you can shoot me too much faster, and yeah, I cannot control this. Nice time ahead, and go down. Shoot some actors from here. I can pick weapons, but we already took weapons. Playing this kind of game is too much difficult. Let me and I can't let me go down. So it is a very difficult game for me. I am not a good gamer, and I cannot play game too fast. You can make your own game, you can create your own map, and little bit better than me, because we don't have that much time to create a better map, to create a large map or world, and use these things and use different levels as a beginner level, advanced levels, middle levels, and anyone can select their difficulties for the games. You can add more weapons, you can add more characters to your world. And remember, this Lyra is multiplayer characters. We will talk about them, how to connect them to our friends in next course. Today I feel very happy for creating this course, and I covered everything you need as a beginner in Unreal Engine 5. I will create more free courses because I know you need free courses to start with Unreal Engine 5. We will talk about everything you need, but I need your support, and you can subscribe this channel right now. If you want to know more about us, about masterclass, you can find more information in links in the description below. You can join our community and post any question you need, and you can find topics, free slides, and C++ courses, everything you need. You can find them there in our masterclass website. You can check it in the description below right now. Go to devmasterclass.com, and there you will find lots of free assets, topics related to Unreal Engine, C++ using Unreal Engine scripting language, blueprints, and many more. And finally, please join our community and post any question you have. I hope see you soon again.